Hey, what's up everybody? This is Keagan here and welcome back to the channel. I'm back with another video for you guys, and this is going to be my second and last video for today. I did a video earlier today and I said at the end of that video I would be making another video today. Well, here it is. And we're going to end today off with another edition of Keagan's movie reviews. And today I'm actually going to be talking about two movies this time, both of which are movies that came out recently. One of them came out almost 2 weeks ago, and the other just came out less than a week ago. And one of them I watched on Netflix, and the other I saw in theaters. So I don't really have anything else to say. So without further ado, let's take a look at the movies, shall we? So the first film we're going to be talking about today is Blonde, which actually just came out a couple days ago, on Wednesday to be exact. It came out on Netflix, and it's been a while since we last talked about a Netflix original movie. And Blonde is based on the novel of the same name from 2000, which was written by Joyce Carol Oates. And this film was written and directed by Andrew Dominik, which this is his fourth film he's directed. The first three films he directed are Chopper, which came out in 2000. His second film was The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford in 2007. And his previous film was Killing Them Softly from 2012, which I actually picked up on Blu-ray recently, but haven't gotten around to watching it yet. Now, this film has gotten a lot of criticism when it was first announced, but it seems to have gotten a lot worse once the film was released on Wednesday. And for reasons that I can find understandable. It should be noted that this film, while it does center around Marilyn Monroe, it is in no way a biography of Marilyn Monroe. It should be noted it's not based on true events. It is based on Marilyn Monroe, but it is a work of fiction. A lot of people either don't understand it, but a lot of people are giving negative reception to this film for reasons I will get into in a bit. And it also should be noted that this is an NC-17 rated movie, and I believe this is the first film on Netflix that's given an NC-17 rating. I think I'm right. I think this is the first Netflix movie to be given an NC-17 rating. But we'll get into the storyline of it pretty quickly, and then I'll get into my thoughts of the movie and some criticism I have with this movie. So anyways, let's take a dive into Blonde. So the storyline for Blonde is pretty simple. It is a fictionalized version of the life of Norma Jean, or as we all know as Marilyn Monroe, and it basically explores the trauma and downward spiral of Monroe when she was an actress, model, and her dreams of becoming a mother someday, but it all comes crashing down from there. And, well, that's basically the storyline in a nutshell. I know, it wasn't even a minute, but that's basically the storyline of the film. So, like I said at the start of this review, that this film has gotten a lot of controversy and a lot of criticism. It's been heavily criticized for its sexual content, and some people deem it to be somewhat exploitive to the legacy of the real Marilyn Monroe. Not to mention that the film was given an NC-17 rating, which, I'll be honest, I don't think this movie deserves an NC-17 rating. To be honest, it is somewhat graphic, but not extreme in a way that it would need an NC-17 rating, unlike other movies like Blue is the Warmest Color or Shame, or movies like that, which, by the way, both of those are great movies. But I can definitely understand the criticism with this movie. One of the problems with this movie is that it was marketed like it was based on the real Monroe, despite the fact that the book it was based on was a work of fiction. That is definitely one of the main criticism of this movie. And the film has gotten a lot of negative reviews as I'm recording this video. It currently has a 5.6 out of 10 rating on IMDb. And It's got a pretty low score on Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't really surprise me. I'll be honest, I was not really expecting this movie to be any good, especially considering it was getting an NC-17 rating and that it was based on a fiction. But aside from all the criticism, the film itself does have some really, really good cinematography and some really good visuals. It's well made and well shot. And it has some really good set designs. I got to give it that. And Ana de Armas was really great in this movie. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if de Armas got an Oscar nom from this movie. But overall, I got to be honest, I didn't really like this movie all that much. Although I don't say it's the worst film I've seen of all time. There are far worse movies I've seen. However, this is one of the worst movies I've seen this year. Aside from all the cinematography and the set designs and some of the performances, I really didn't like this movie. I think the film is way too long. I think it focuses too much on shock value, and it's a bit too much. And overall, I really didn't care for this movie. But I can definitely understand why people are giving this movie negative reviews. And I can definitely understand a lot of the criticism. And I'm kind of with the people criticizing this film. Like, maybe if they made this movie not center on Marilyn Monroe or any real person in general, maybe just on a fictional person, maybe it'd be a decent movie. But overall, I really didn't like this movie at all. Like, I was not a fan of it. It's not the worst film I've seen, like I said before, but it is one of the worst films I've seen. But I don't really recommend this movie. And I was kind of pissed off after it was over. I actually watched the whole thing to the end. It is a pretty long movie. It's nearly 3 hours. It's 166 minutes long. But it's not the worst film I've ever seen, but it could have been way better, you know? But overall, I kind of regret watching it, but hey, I already watched it. I watched it all. And I'm probably never going to watch this movie again. And if you are a fan of the real Marilyn Monroe, I'd say stay away from this movie. But yeah, I'm done talking about this movie. And before we move on to the next movie, I'm giving Blonde a 4.5 out of 10. Yeah, it's not very often you see me give a low rating. I don't really give a lot of low ratings because most of the movies I review here are good. But anyways, that's enough of Blonde. Now on to the next movie. And the last film I'm going to be talking about in this video is Don't Worry Darling, which this one I saw in theaters on Saturday. And this film came out on September 23rd, 2022. So this film came out almost 2 weeks ago as of this video was recorded, at the time when this video was recorded. And this film was directed by Olivia Wilde, who also co-starred in this film. And this is her second film she's directed after Booksmart from 2019, which I haven't seen Booksmart, but I hear pretty good things about that movie. It's supposed to be like a female version of Superbad. Maybe I'll check that movie out someday. Now, I know there's a little bit of controversy about this film because there was a lot of drama that occurred on set during the production of this movie. However, I'm not going to cover that in this video. I'm sure somebody else on YouTube has already covered it, but I'm not going to cover the drama that occurred on production of this movie in this video. And I was actually looking forward to this movie. It looked interesting by the trailer, but we'll get to my thoughts on that in a minute. But we'll get into the storyline pretty quickly. So let's just get into the storyline really quickly, in a spoiler-free way, of course, and then we'll give my thoughts on this movie. So let's dive into Don't Worry, Darling. So the storyline for Don't Worry, Darling is pretty straightforward. It takes place in the 1950s and is set in an experimental town called Victory, and it follows a housewife named Alice, who is played by Florence Pugh, who you might know from the movie Midsummer, which I talked about back in season 1. And Alice lives with her husband named Jack, who is played by former member of One Direction, Harry Styles. So they live in Jack and Alice live in Victory, a town that's like an experiment or something. And Jack works with the people running the experiment. But then Alice begins to suspect that there are secrets being held behind the scenes of the town and is trying to uncover what the hell is really going on behind the scenes. So that's kind of basically your storyline in a nutshell. Well, like I said before, I was really looking forward to this movie. I thought it looked interesting by the trailer and it seemed promising. And I finally saw the movie in theaters on Saturday, and well, I wanted to like this movie. I really did, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I was really disappointed with this movie. But it wasn't a horrible film. It wasn't a great movie either, but I was either way let down by this movie. But this movie had some really good stuff going for it. The cinematography was pretty good. The production value was very well done, and the set design was very well done. And the lighting was good, and it had some pretty decent editing, and it was fairly well casted. But unfortunately, I can't say the same for the writing and the story. The story and writing were predictable. The plot was predictable. And on top of that, the plot twist at the end, which I'm not going to spoil it, but the plot twist at the end I found it kind of dumb and it was really uninteresting. And it was just left me like, are you shitting me? But the plot twist almost killed the movie. It definitely killed off the tension and the momentum built up for the climax, and it was just like, are you shitting me? But yeah, and on top of that, none of the characters were interesting, and I overall was really let down by this movie. Although it's not a terrible movie by any means, it's neither a great film or anything. However, it is one of the most disappointing movies. It was a very disappointing film, and probably the most disappointing movie I've seen in a while. Well, kind of think of it, I don't even remember the last time I was anticipating for a movie that only let me down. But either way, it's not a terrible film. I don't really recommend it. It's not a terrible film. It's not a great movie either. But at the end of the day, Don't Worry, Darling is just a really disappointing film that had so much potential, but that potential was wasted. And I don't think I'm ever going to watch this movie again. Now, initially, when I saw the film, I initially gave the film a 6 out of 10, but after thinking about it yesterday and this morning, I decided that I'm going to be giving Don't Worry, Darling, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Yeah. What a disappointing movie. Although not the worst movie I've seen, but definitely one of the most disappointing films I've seen. So, yeah. So, that's about it for this review. Well, guys, that wraps up another edition of Keagan's Movie Reviews. And I know I usually review a lot of great movies here. Well, sometimes you can't always review great movies, and not every movie is great. So Blonde was not a very good movie, and Don't Worry, Darling was a disappointment. But hey, I'm sure the next movie I'll review will be a great one. I can promise you that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more videos like this. And as always, feel free to follow me on my Instagram, Letterboxd, and Serialized. Links are in the description as always. And what do you guys think of these two movies? And what do you guys think of the criticism of Blonde? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But anyways, thanks again for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. And until next time, this is Keagan Shepherd signing off. Thanks for watching. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.